everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I have the UV Slider 2. I had a good feeling that Ultraview was coming out with a second generation of the slider, and here we have it. I'll be looking at this. I wanted to do an authentic review over just my initial thoughts on it. I will put it on a bow, show you the whole setup, and also be comparing this sight to the top sights that have just been recently released and tell you which one I will be using for this year and which one I believe is the best sight out there. So let's open this up and take a look at it. I will initially say that this thing is heavier than what I had expected, just the box itself. I know their packaging is always pretty elaborate, so kind of goes with that. Just like the original slider, you get a nice carrying case for it, so if you want to take your sight off, put it back in the case, you can. It's nice that you get that, and also if you remove your scope housing, you could just put that in the box as well. And comes with the same exact packaging. You can scan this and it'll tell you exactly the instructions for setting it up, which is nice. Get the hardware here. I have the pick mount version, which for my bows, that's what I use. And when I saw the Matthews version, I figured there was probably going to be their own coming out pretty soon. So anyway, the main thing that I can tell already is it is definitely lighter. All right, so straight out of the box, you get all the Allen wrenches for it, which is nice. So if you're wanting a specific one, or if you're just going to use this and travel with it, you have all the Allen wrenches you need to adjust this sight, which is really nice. You can definitely tell that it is lighter. One thing I will definitely mention, especially just taking it out of the box, these are super sharp, so be careful with them. It is going to be nice, so when you do put it onto your sighting tape, you can see it really easy. So you have the 3 indicators. This is for the 3 horizontal pins. Then you have 1 indicator on this back side. Like the original one, it comes in with the sight-in tape, so it's going to make it easy. You're going to sight it in. And this will tell you exactly how to sight it in. If you're wanting to know how to do that, like I said, I'll have another video showing you exactly how to sight it in and pick the sight tape. So the other thing that I want to mention with this one is you do not get the sight light. So if you're somebody who wants the light with the pins, you're going to have to buy that separately, which it is $100. So it's a little more pricey for that sight light for this, but comes in at a decent price point, especially with all the other major sights out there. And if you're familiar with the first one, it'll be kind of similar with the second one. So your lock is right here, right by the wheel, which is nice. Lock that down and it won't move. You pull this out and you adjust your windage for left and right. Put it back in to lock it in place. Really nice features. And just like the first one, you can just slide it down and remove it. And then you can slide it back in. And then you can slide it right on and off, which is kind of nice. It's easy to go on and off, and everything should stay nice and square and level to your bow, so you shouldn't have to worry about that when you just remove the sight housing. It is super smooth, it moves really nice. That's one thing that I did really like about the slider. The first edition, the second edition is the same way. It is really smooth. I really like this wheel, and it's nice that the lock is just right there. So just like the first one, it still does have some movement in there, but if you bump it, it is not going to move on you. And I am pulling on it as hard as I can, and it is not moving. But when you grab the wheel, you can still move it. So if you are deer moves or something moves and you got to switch and adjust it on the fly, you can still do that, which is nice. You don't have to remember, oh man, I got to unlock my sight to move it. But it's still easy, and it is in a great location for locking your sight down. If you do leave it up, it will move fairly easily. So, I mean, you're going to have to bump it for it to move, but I would personally lock it, especially with it having that override. You can easily still move it with it being locked. These pins are supposedly a lot brighter. And in here, I'm going to tell you that they do look way brighter than the first edition of this sight. On the sight, it has 0.015 fibers, So for me, that is a good size because it's not too big for those longer shots, but then it's also not too small that you can't see it when hunting. When hunting, I like to have a little bit bigger pins, especially in those areas that I can't use a sight light. So that is one nice thing about this, is it's kind of in between. It's their own unique size. I will say the one thing with this, if you are somebody who likes different scope housings, this is going to be a little bit harder sight for you to get those to work perfectly with it. And especially since you only have your first and third adjustments, your first and second are tied together. As you can see here, I'll zoom in and show you all these details, but you can only see your first and second here, and then you have your third axis adjustment. I do actually like the way that they did this third axis adjustment. I think it'll be a solid sight, and just by playing with it, it seems way better than the first edition. And like they also said, is there's so many less parts in here, so it's less things to move or break on you. So I think this will be a lot better version, so some of those that did not like the first one, you'll probably like this second generation a lot better. Another thing too, with this one is you have a positive stop to come back to 20. So 0 stop, which that was my biggest thing that I did not like about the first one. So right up here you can see, and honestly if you did have the first one you could probably add this to it, but you can move this up and down, and basically your sight is just going to roll all the way back up and it's going to hit that stop. You know, you're exactly to where you need to be, so your top pin and all your pins are back on your original sighting point. So I really like that feature. I'm glad they added that. You can still run dual sight tapes, and then also in here you have 3 indicator marks, so you know all 3 of your pins are at that certain distance, and when you roll down you can tell which one your pins are at. So a closer up look of the sight, 3-pin horizontal. You can tell that the indicators are really small here and sharp, so you get a really precise indicator of where your sight is actually at, which I like that. On the inside here, they've got the axis labeled for you, so your first and second are locked together, and then your third axis adjustment is right there. Really like the way that they did that. You can change Picatinny and different mounts on this side, I believe. The dial wheel, which is one of my actual favorite parts of the sight, is it just moves really slow, really smooth. And then the lock, so you flip that up and it is just real smooth. So I like that. You can still override that. Real easy windage adjustment. Just pop that out, move it, pop it back in. It's locked in place. You can change out the cartridges onto the back here and then just slide a new one on. Same with the front. You can change these out, and then also you could put a sight light on here if you wanted. Really hoping the pins are brighter on this sight. That was one thing that I didn't like about the first edition of the slider. Other than that, the things are pretty similar. It's a little bit lighter and less parts, so hopefully a little bit more durable. So for some, this might be a downside, but to others, they might like it. The center pin is set on the 3-pin scope housing, so you can only move your top and bottom one to the distances that you want it, but it's going to help keep your pins a little bit more centered in the scope housing, which is what I like. Also with this, you can remove this white and do different colors on here if you want that, and then also this is where the sight light would go if you do decide to add the light to the sight. On the back here, you can remove the pin cartridges, which is kind of nice because if you do put in another cartridge in the back, your sight is still going to be level. You shouldn't have to worry about messing with any of it. The only time you might have an issue with the sight is if you tried to put a different scope housing on here. But if you're buying their sight, I feel like you're probably going to be using their scope housing, so it's not that big of an issue. Overall, I think this is a lot better sight than the UV Slider 1. And I would highly recommend checking out the second edition of this sight. Like I said, I will actually be doing a full setup on this, running it for a little bit, telling you how I like this sight overall. and comparing it to the other main sights that are out for 2025 and some of them that came out in 2024. It's definitely a good contender. I'm going to weigh this to see actually what it comes in for weight wise. So they are spot on with their weight. It is 9.3 ounces. So what they tell you is actually right on the money with this pick mount one. So it's not the lightest sight out there that's being made, but it is also a really good option, and everything is really streamlined, well built. I don't know how this thing could actually break on you as far as this mounting and scope itself. I don't feel like there should be any issues with any of the rail or any of that moving on you. Like I said, there's less parts, so you should have less things to break if you are running this sight for hunting. The one thing I will say is I'm not sure how durable these pins are, but they actually feel pretty dang solid. So I don't think that you'll probably be able to break any of them by walking through brush and having a branch or something getting in there. Everything just feels solid on this sight. Overall, great sight. I think it's going to work really well for you, especially if you're in the market for a high-end sight. Definitely would not overlook this one. Comes in a little bit lighter than a couple of those out there, but right in comparison with some of the top ones that were going for making the most light sight but still durable. Really glad that they offer it with the zero stop. That's a huge upgrade in my opinion. The pins and the cartridges and just the whole overall build of it is a huge upgrade in my opinion. You should not have to worry about things moving on you like on the first one. And like most sights, the second edition is usually a lot better. The dialed is a prime example of that. Their proof is so much better than the Arxos. I feel like this is the exact same. A lot of upgrades here. Definitely a lot more durable in my opinion, just from feeling it and trying to move things. It's definitely solid. Highly recommend this sight probably if you are in the market. Like I said, check back. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the comparison of all the top sights out there in my opinion. And I will do a comparison of those and tell you which one I think is personally the best sight out there. I will try to get that video posted as soon as possible. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I will do a further review of this sight. I just wanted to get it out there and get my initial thoughts to you on what I think of this sight, especially if you have any questions, reach out and I will try to answer them the best as possible. As always, thanks for watching, stay hidden, and good luck out there. All the sight tapes, you can definitely tell there's some really small marks on there, but you get several sheets of sight tapes, so you should be able to find one that works for your setup. You get some actual sight end tapes, but then all the way up to 40 sight tapes themselves.